Hello everyone, this is Untitled Gamer. Let's review Snoopy versus the Red Baron for the PlayStation 2. Before we go flying off into this game review, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and at the same time, hit that bell so you can keep up with all the latest updates from Untitled Gamer. Let's fly. Snoopy vs. the Red Baron was developed in 2006 by the developer Smart Bomb Interactive. The genre that would best describe this game is a mixture of a family-friendly fight simulator with aerial combat, also known as dogfighting. And no pun intended, even though Snoopy's a dog. The premise of the story is that Snoopy has a dream. A dream where he is a World War I flying ace, flying for the Allied forces, fighting his arch nemesis, the Red Baron. Accompanying him in this adventure to fight in World War I is the other classic members of the Peanut family, such as Charlie Brown, Linus, Pigpen, you name it. They also star in this adventure with Snoopy, starring in a variety of different roles and typecast based on Snoopy's fantasy, such as how Linus is an intelligence person who flies in a Zeppelin for Snoopy. Pigpen controls the spy ships. Shrouder uses a battleship. Lucy is the grand general of the unit. And of course, good old Charlie Brown got typecast as the janitor. Yes, he's not a fighter pilot. He's not a main character supporting our heroes. He's just the janitor. In this game, you get to play as two different characters in the main story mode. The first one obviously is Snoopy. You can control Snoopy as you play through most of the levels in the games. And the second character is Woodstock, the little trusty yellow bird that's friends with Snoopy. You only get to play him in some parts where he is Snoopy's tail gunner attached to his plane, providing additional firing support. When you first start the game, you have to go through a basic tutorial on navigation in a baseball field to get warmed up first. Then after this, you then have two options. One, you can go into the levels and play the game itself, or two, take additional training in the baseball diamond. In my opinion personally, you should not be a maverick and take the recommended training, as not only it would teach you advanced techniques to help you in the game, you also get paid, as the money that you get paid will be used to upgrade your plane. Snoopy could become a Top Gun pilot. And you know how you get into the levels to play? Simple. You fly through billboards. Yes, you magically phase through the billboard without breaking it. You could imagine how the adults feel every time they see a plane go through a billboard and disappear. They're probably going to say, wah, 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 wah. And of course, they can't catch the perpetrator because he flew back in time. There are 6 worlds to go play in. Includes the aerodrome, the woods of Montsec, the front lines of Verdun, the mines of the Matterhorn, Verdun Gorge, and the Flying Fortress. But when you first start off, only the aerodrome will be unlocked, and in order to progress to the other worlds, you have to complete all the levels in the existing world that has been unlocked, which can only be unlocked one at a time. In each level, there are multiple primary objectives you must complete in order to complete the level, but at the same time there are also some secondary objectives which you can accomplish to get some additional money and also make your life a little bit easier during the mission. And together, based on both these aspects and a few other minor factors, affects your rating for that mission. Next, I want to cover the interface that you have during the levels. In the bottom left, next to the picture of Snoopy, you see 2 colored bars. The one that is reddish to orange symbolizes Snoopy's plane's life bar. If that number runs out, Snoopy will be blown out of the sky and he has to use one of his lives. The blue bar, which symbolizes the thrusters for Snoopy's plane. So in some parts, Snoopy could burst off a higher speed, which would drain the blue bar, but it does recharge itself over time. The icon next to the blue bar, depending on what you select, symbolizes the special weapon that Snoopy has for his plane. The most common one people would use would be the fireworks, which shows a little red rocket and a number next to it tell you how many you have left. At the same time, it's kind of interesting as that you could look on Snoopy's plane as those special weapons are literally attached to his plane. So you can also look there to see how many rounds you have left. Above Snoopy's aviator picture, you see a picture of a small plane with a number next to it. This symbolizes how many extra lives you have left to complete the level. In this situation, Snoopy gets blasted out the sky. You also see a green circle in front of Snoopy. That is your targeting reticule for his machine guns while you're flying. While on the top right, it shows a picture of the map that you're currently playing on with different icons on there. The yellow plane in the middle with the blue icon is Snoopy's plane. The red dots symbolizes enemy planes, and you also will see other icons depending on your mission or objectives. Furthermore, if you have additional objectives requiring you to protect a convoy or protect a ship or a blimp or something, it will show on the top left above Snoopy's life bar the target that you're supposed to protect's life, so you know how much hit points you have left before you get destroyed. While during battle, if you manage to damage an enemy, their health bar would show up with an icon of what kind of enemy you hit on the bottom right, but it only focuses on one enemy at a time, so at least it gives you an indicator about how much hit points it has left before it explodes. Sometimes you might also see objectives on the right, but next to Snoopy's plane, which tells you if you have to fight additional targets or you also have additional enemies you have to take down. At times in the game, you might get pops-up that appear above on the top of the screen next to the map, which explains additional objectives you may be required to do or reminders that are being sent out by the Peanut Gang members. The flight navigation is actually realistic in a way that if you push forward on your analog stick, the plane goes down, and you push down on the analog stick, it goes up, just like in modern planes. Plus, this is actually consistent with most flight simulator games as well, so that you don't have to learn new controls. You can also do barrel rolls, 180-degree spins, and loop-de-loops. During your missions, there are a few items you should pay attention for throughout the level. The first one is root beer. I'm referring to the soda root beer as it symbolizes the healing item in this game. If you ever grew up reading the Peanuts comics or watched some of the movies, it also is a reference to Snoopy, how he likes drinking root beer and he believes it's important as a flying ace. There's even some jokes about how he got drunk off of it. In this game, however, root beer helps restore your health bar so that you don't have to risk getting blown out of the sky. There is two ways of acquiring root beer in a level. In some levels, they might have a floating orb in stationary location, which Snoopy needs to fly through in order to acquire the root beer. And in other cases, it can come from a random drop. If you blast enemy pilots out of the sky, if you're lucky, they drop root beer. The second item I want to cover is letters, as in letters in the alphabet. They are commonly found in hard-to-reach places or more obscure locations within a level. These floating green icons could be acquired by A, you could touch them, or B, which I more commonly do, is shoot the letter. The purpose in acquiring these letters is that it spells out the names of the new pilots that you get the privilege to unlock for multiplayer matches. Do note, I just said privilege. You still have to purchase the pilots on top of this. You don't just unlock them and get them for free. You still have to pay afterwards. You only just earn the right to buy the pilots. The next item you will encounter in the battlefield are balloons. No, I'm not referring to those observation balloons from World War I. I'm referring to colorful balloons that you can get at a carnival blown up by a clown. In each level you play, there will be roughly around 10 balloons, and they are spread out all over the battlefield with some in hidden places, so you have to explore a bit to find all of them. The purpose behind gathering these balloons is that it allows you the privilege to unlock special weapons that can be utilized in battle. And do note, for some levels as you progress in the game, you do need these special weapons in order to complete the level successfully. For instance, in one of the levels in the woods of Monosek, you need to get the flaming boomerang in order to burn the hay to clear the passage. If you don't have the flaming boomerang, you wouldn't be able to accomplish this. In order to get the flaming boomerang, you need to acquire enough balloons in the aerodrome levels in order to unlock the boomerang for purchase. During the mission, as you complete secondary objectives and also shoot and destroy enemies, they may drop some coins out which you can collect, which goes into a pink piggy bank that appears on the top of your screen. In addition, in some missions, you might be asked to follow a specific set of, like a pattern or line. In other words, you can say it's like follow the money, as they want you to follow that specific direction or pattern in order to complete the objective. But hey, can't really argue with free money in the sky. If you do survive the level, you get to cash in that money and utilize it to purchase upgrades for your plane, new special weapons, or even to unlock new pilots afterwards once you get back to the baseball diamond. All you have to do is go to Pigpen's store. Next, I want to discuss the types of enemies that you encounter in this game. The first one, which is the most stereotypical kind, is World War I biplanes and blimps, which are flown by the enemy forces, and they come in a variety of colors, with each kind being at a different difficulty level to combat, with the blue planes being the easiest to fight. In addition, in this game, you also fight against enemy submarines, boats, and surprisingly, enemy robotic forces, such as the little robots that carry bombs. You have land crawlers, which I initially thought were playing a steampunk game, just odd based off of those crawlers, and other robotic enemies as well. But overall, most of them are actually pretty easy to beat thanks to a barrage of machine gun fire and some explosives if needed. Next, I want to discuss the type of weapons you have in this game. The first one, which is your default weapon, is twin machine guns attached to Snoopy's biplane. That is basically your main source of fire. These machine guns can get upgraded at Pigpen's store. At the start of the game, you also have access to 2 special weapons for your usage in the missions. The first one is called the Skyrocket. This one's icon looks like a stereotypical firework with some string attached around it. This special weapon allows you to carry 8 rounds on your plane, and they are basically just shoot forward and hit something in the distance if there's something there, with no targeting whatsoever. This type of special weapon works best when basically in a situation where you're about to kamikaze in, so you know the target's close that you're guaranteed to hit anyways. The other special weapon is called the Woodstock Missile. This one looks like a giant missile with 3 pointed horns on it, like a stereotypical type of rocket. This one, however, has the ability to let you control it in flight for a certain amount of time, where Woodstock steers it, and you also have the neat ability where you could speed up and slow down the missile. This weapon, however, is a little bit more trickier to use in certain situations, such as you're trying to take down a fast-moving target. I wouldn't really recommend it for that situation, but say if you're about to go around the corner, and you know the enemy's waiting for you there, you can just blast this rocket and steer it around the corner and hit the enemy by surprise without putting your main plane at risk. Of course, the way to switch these special weapons is before you fly into a billboard, they are laid out in the baseball field. You just need to fly through and touch that special weapon in order to switch to it. Remember when I said it's a family-friendly flight simulator? The reason behind that is, in this game, nobody dies. For instance, even if you shoot the enemy pilots and blow up their planes, they will always jump out and have a parachute to land down safely. And in like some video games, you cannot shoot the parachutes. So you can't be evil and sadistic and try to shoot their parachute and hope that they plummet to the earth. That doesn't happen in this game. It's family friendly. Just like how if Snoopy gets blasted out of the sky, he will jump up in the air and activate his parachute as well. In terms of replay value for this game, I can definitely guarantee there is in two aspects. The first aspect is you can replay the levels to get more money so that you could pay for either new pilots or special weapons. And the other aspect is that multiplayer mode. You can have friends over and you can play this game with 2 players on split screen mode. In terms of the difficulty setting for this game, I do have to say it's pretty fair overall, as it does get slightly more difficult as you progress and face a variety of more enemies, but assuming you brought the upgrades, you should be fine. It's so fun and easy that even a little kid can pick up a controller and play. Of course, there are a few areas that could have made this game even more fantastic, which includes maybe having an opportunity where Snoopy can get his plane customized, or even you could have more Peanut characters from the series appear in the game, such as Charlie Brown's friend Shermie, or Freda, or Peggy Jean, for instance. That could maybe give more opportunities to have more pilots on the battlefield. Other areas include the controls at times during the flight can get a little bit, how was I supposed to say, stiff at times, so that when I was trying to steer, I was having more trouble and I had to put more effort steering than I thought because it was a little stiff and slow to respond. The last area was, I feel that there were way too many load screens in the baseball diamond. Even when I was just going to browse Pigpen's wares without purchasing everything, even after I exit, it still forces me to go through a whole loading screen, which I felt was a bit redundant. Even though I didn't make any minor adjustments, it still forced you to go through a loading screen. I felt if we were to take some of those loading screens out, the game would have felt a little bit more smoother overall. Aside of these areas of improvement, the game is still very fun to play alone or with friends. It has amazing and very colorful, beautiful scenery, which is pretty good in my opinion for a PlayStation 2. The game is fun. You get to play as Snoopy. It's just good old classic fun. It brings the magic of Snoopy in World War I to life. This concludes my game review on Snoopy vs. the Red Baron for the PlayStation 2. I'm the Ardent Vital Gamer, and thank you for joining me today. In the meantime, while waiting for my next video, don't forget to click subscribe and leave a like on this video and share this video with your friends. Take care for now. Cheers.